Agency in Motion Continuing Education Series. This is a series specifically designed for agents, producers, advisors, agency builders in the financial services industry. And today's episode is really centered all around the fact that money matters. And, even people that tell you that money doesn't matter, it matters. It matters to all of us. So what you want to understand and how you want to position yourself is as a coach. And once you understand, what a coach does, how a coach helps somebody, then really you begin to read your, kind of marketplace a little bit different, and you begin to position yourself a little bit different in conversations, in the education role, in the sales role. It's somebody that's going to help get them to a desired end financial destination. So not an agent, not a salesperson. We're positioning ourselves as a coach, understanding that, yes, we make money from this industry, but the fact is people need us, and they need us a lot right now in this current environment. With that being said, right now, with everything that's going on, Fed raising interest rates 1,700% in 1 year, the stock market on shaky ground, a lot of things happening. There's some banking crisis going on. If you can't right now go out and promote your biz to everyone you know, then you really don't believe in it, and neither will anyone else. So if you have something and it's a legit strategy and solution that's going to help people, you should be motivated by the mission of what you can do for someone else. You need to be, able to lead with customer obsession. If you lead with customer obsession, always obsessed about creating a better client experience, then the things are going to happen for you. You're going to reach your goals, you're going to make money. But this is so, so important. An Amazon-like model where you're obsessed with the client experience, what they go through from start to finish and how to improve that. If you get a mindset like that, and if you get a mindset of being a coach and understanding that money matters, it becomes a lot easier, like I said, to understand your place and position yourself in front of people as that person that can help them. Because look, if you don't help them and nobody helps them, if they don't learn how money works, they're going to spend the rest of their lives working for money. And then on the opposite side over here, you see that most people concerned about money matters, but few truly understand about how money works. So think about when you go out there, the difference you make on an individual or household, in one by one or collectively over a period of time. This is meaningful. And you have to believe that what you're doing in some small way is going to change things for people. We're trying to change the financial landscape of this country. What you do is meaningful. You need to start positioning yourself mentally for your own being, and then out in the marketplace as that person. Because being a sucker is a choice. And then on the opposite side of that, stop being a sucker is also a choice. The financial system is rigged. It's stacked against us. It creates an environment where we're all suckers. So once we understand that we are a sucker and how not to become a sucker, and break out of that, those are choices. So you have to understand money matters. People have choices. Position yourself as a coach that can help them, as someone who can provide the stuff they need to know how to win at this game. Something normal coaches do, right? They provide discipline, they provide lessons, they provide information to make someone better. The greatest rules, the money rules that someone needs to know. Once again, once they understand the education of what to do, why to do it, and then the back end execution of how to do it, you've got a thriving business environment where you're making a difference. And that difference is just teaching, on the front side, leading with education, helping people understand, hey, this is on you. No one's coming to save you. Don't wait. There's a high cost to waiting. Pay yourself first. Understand, implement these rules, compound interest, rule of 72, basically learn how money works, are continuing just to, fall, into those same traps that everybody else falls into. And then also helping them understand as a coach, hey, there's new rules of money and there's old rules of money. And unfortunately, if you're still operating with some of those old rules of money, that's not going to work in this current environment. Because right now, Social Security absolutely has to change, including the payouts and the eligibility age. So when we're talking to people, if someone's of a certain age, I don't believe at my age, looking out 25 plus years, Social Security is going to be there. So I don't count on it for myself. And I teach people that are of a certain age and younger, don't count on it at all. People are going to have to work longer. But also, when you look at retirement, retirement used to be a gold watch and a pension. Then retirement used to be a social security age. Retirement's not an age, guys. It's a financial condition. That the more you're able to teach people that, the easier it is to break those old paradigms where they're thinking about social security. They're thinking about somebody else taking care of them at a certain age, or on the opposite side, thinking about there's no hope for them. They're just going to have to work until they drop. And then also those changes ahead, long-term care, which probably 70% of all of us are going to need it, is only available through the government as assistance for low income through Medicaid. The taxes, for the first time in history going forward, the retirement tax rate will be higher than the working tax rate. Challenges equal opportunities. Once again, you are a coach. Money matters. Position yourself, educate, and then, create, like we've always talked about, a persona of the person that you want to help, you're able to help, and for the most part, are looking and willing to do business with you. This is kind of a visual of what it looks like. If you're still operating from those kind of old school mentalities and rules in this new economy, it's like pushing a block. What you're teaching people is the new rules of the economy and how to get ahead and how to stay ahead and how to create control and peace of mind. And essentially, that's like, just pushing a ball around, which is much, much easier. You have to, as a coach, identify and help people understand what's holding them back. A lot of times it's debt, right? So that's what we go after. But other times it's other issues. You need to help identify and then also help them identify what's holding them back so you can coach them and lead them into a way, show them a pathway to actually get what they want. To actually create a money trail, some path to a desired, like we always talk about, in financial destination. And once you can position yourself as a coach, as someone who can do that, your business is going to blow up. The age-old kind of question, how long am I going to work? How long am I going to be in retirement? Can I retire? All of these questions that people have is simply answered by one, understanding. Who ends up working for money? Is it you or your assets? And as a coach and helping people understand this, it's very easy. There's some more very complicated ideas that can be brought down and kind of whittled down to simple questions. Hey, who ends up working? Is it going to be you or your assets? If your assets end up working for you, creating passive income that covers your standard of living, that's financial freedom in my book. If you end up working for the money, there's so many variables. There's so many unknowns. You could get, laid off from the job. You can have medical issues that don't allow you to continue to working. So you have to understand somebody ends up working. And if you're going to create some type of a future destination where you have control and peace of mind, it's got to be the assets. Because we don't have the corporate pension plans for the most part. Those are history. So it's all on us now. So we're going to fall on a qualified side of the fence, or do we understand the advantages of the personal pension plan, the non-qualified plan? You can still create the pension plans like yesteryear. You can do it for yourself and have complete control over the contract. Because when you're comparing, once again, if somebody's going into a future where the asset they built up is going to be larger in terms of monetary value and the taxes are going to be higher, remember, that's great for Uncle Sam. That's not too good for your client. So when you're looking at, the risk, the taxes, the gains, the death benefit, and the fees of a typical qualified taxable 401k plan versus a personal pension plan that can be created, that we call the tax-free plan, when you are eliminating variables, when you are taking guarantees, then once again, you are in more control over the future. That creates an environment where you're going to get to somewhere you actually want to go versus just drifting into an unknown outcome. People that drift have a hope and a pray mentality. That's not a plan of action. Once again, position yourself as a coach, help people understand that money matters, and help them understand if they educate and execute a proper plan of action, they can get what they want. If they don't, if they don't take control over this and they're just drifting, things are going to, wreck their financial plan. One of those is going to be taxes. Another one of those is going to be market risk. And market risk is a huge unknown going forward, and it tends to attack people at the exact times they need to start accessing their money. So if you're going over periods of time and the market has a correction, a crash, a bear market at the exact time where you're pulling out income, it works, on both sides to squeeze you. If you're needing money, if you're starting your retirement and the market risk based on valuation and investor sentiment is high, that's a dangerous place to be in. And then an unknown place to be in that's a constant danger that we just never know about. It's a black swan event. What could happen, geopolitical or anything like that, they're highly unlikely to happen. But when they do, they have severe consequences. Think about 9/11. Nobody knew 9/11 was going to happen. When it did, it shut down the stock market for a number of days. And when it opened, it was cascading losses. So once again, if you're open to market risk, then you're open to the consequences of what's going to happen, and typically at the wrong time. We want to adapt. We want to teach the rules of the bank. Once again, we don't want to do what the bank tells us to do. We want to do what the bank actually does, follow their model. And we teach our clients, hey, banks want cash flow. They want to earn interest. They want to use leverage. They love OPM, which is other people's money. They want their money back as fast as possible. They want guarantees and they want low risk. So when you're developing strategies and plans for your own personal financial future, adopt the rules of the bank. The rules of the bank is pretty simple. They take your money in, they immediately put it back on the street. They lend it to businesses and other people. Those people pay the bank interest to borrow the money, and the bank pays you a small percentage of that. So what that means for you is that if you're going to take the bank's position, you need to understand credit spreads, how they earn interest, and that will allow you to develop mathematical formulas, including the ability to create arbitrage. You cannot create arbitrage from single use cases on your money. So once again, what we teach our clients as a money coach is how to create an environment where you get multiple uses out of your money. This is something that most people have no idea how to do, not taught to us. Why is that? Because financial institutions, when we're financially illiterate and we don't know how money works, it's easier to take advantage of us. The bottom line really is income itself doesn't build wealth. Income generating assets do. So this is, once again, as a coach, understanding that money matters to all of us going forward. How money makes money. Because once again, somebody's going to end up working. Is it us or our assets? And once we start to understand, replace bad data with good information, start learning how money works, we understand how to put ourselves in a position where we can create an environment where, once again, the passive income from our assets covers our standard of living. Once again, in my book, that's financial freedom. As a money coach, you can also need to be able to teach your clients so they understand what they're trying to accomplish. Appreciating assets, those are something you buy now. At a time in the future, you hope somebody's going to pay you more than you paid for it when it's time to sell it. Cash flow assets, these are things that you get paid to hold. Those are the best type of assets to have. Consumption, that's just money in, consumption gone. And then depreciated assets, obviously, those are the things that we buy and they lose value over time till they become basically worthless. We're showing this because so many people buy appreciating assets. They invest in appreciating assets. And that's just, hey, at a date in the future, I'm hoping it's going to be worth more than I paid for it now. You need to be teaching your clients the importance of cash flow assets. And once again, positioning yourself as a coach, as someone that can help them get to a end destination through education, you're breaking it down. Let me give an example. When you're talking to your clients about stocks, help them understand that a stock can be an appreciating asset or a cash flow asset. What's the difference? What makes the difference between an appreciating stock and a cash flow stock? It's the dividend, right? I'm getting paid to hold the stock when I'm getting paid dividends. So that's a lot of people don't know this information. You can lead and position yourself as a coach, help people through education and execution to get this stuff done. Let's talk about real estate. What takes an appreciating real estate property to a cash flow property? It's the rental income. If we're taking in rent in that property, it's a cash flow asset, right? What about one of the new assets that's come on? Cryptocurrency. What makes cryptocurrency an appreciating asset from a cash flow asset? It's the ability to go out and stake that cryptocurrency and earn interest or get paid on that. So once again, am I getting paid to hold the asset? If so, it's a cash flow asset. You want to stack your balance sheet with cash flow assets. Common money mistakes, guys. This is also stuff as a coach, helping people understand. This is the typical stuff people fall into. Settling, thinking you have enough when you really don't. Diversification, that benefits Wall Street, not necessarily you, depending on one income flow. That's extremely dangerous. Comparing yourself to others, it can bring a false sense of confidence. Investing in trends, the fastest way to go broke. Trusting without proof, show me, don't tell me. Saving just to save, inflation, the government devalues your currency over time. You save to invest, right? And the pretender spender, you're not a baller just because you have some expensive car or boat. It's about, once again, creating income producing assets. That's what we're trying to do here. And if your money isn't where you want it to be, speaking to your clients, it's because, mainly it begins with mindset, and that can be entitlement. You feel you deserve money without earning it. Middle class mindset, you're just doing just enough to get by. Lack of consistency, you'll start stuff, but, you're just making it up every day. Really no real routine to follow. Normal actions, you're a 9-to-5er and that's it. Wrong vehicle, you're in the wrong asset, the wrong vehicle, the wrong company, whatever it might be. You never save. You spend every single dollar that you make, and then no sales skills. Whether somebody is in sales for a profession or not, they need to understand we all are going out there. We're all negotiating stuff. We're all selling something. You don't know how to go out there and get new money. Remember, when you are speaking to your prospects, a coach doesn't always break good news. Sometimes it's about, hey, you're not being disciplined. You're not doing this. And you need to help people understand that having no financial plan is actually a plan. It's a plan guaranteed to help you fail. Not understanding the risk in your financial plan, breaking the rules of the plan for X, Y, or Z, whatever it is, the inability to act, react, or adjust, falling in love with mediocrity, failure to realize that it's really up to you, failure to learn from past mistakes, and no consistency. When somebody comes in and says, hey, what would be a reason that a client of yours wouldn't be successful? You've got to have the answer to that. And a lot of times it's because what we've set up and what we've designed, they're breaking it. They're not following. There's no consistency. You need to understand how to ask these questions or answer these questions. And then also, people are going to ask you, hey, what are the keys to success for working with you? Well, hey, you got to have goals, right? If you're not trying to get somewhere, you don't need me to get nowhere. And then you need education. We need to understand, the what to do, the why to do it. And then, also the execution of how to do it. We need risk management. We need to be able to, analyze what's going on, data-driven decisions, and we need a strategic playbook. If you combine goals, education, risk management, analysis, and strategic playbook, those would be what I would call the keys to a successful strategy and a client relationship. And then also, you need to set up expectations. A coach has expectations for, their players, if we're talking sports-wise. Same thing. You as a money coach, you need to lay out the expectations of, hey, if you're going to become a client of mine, this is what I expect of you. And you need to have those lists of expectations, because this is also going back to disqualifying. If you have expectations and your person can't fall in line with those expectations and you've set those out, then you guys are going to have discussion about why they can't meet those, versus never knowing what's expected and just kind of drifting around. And then at a later point, the coach getting upset at them because they didn't meet their expectations, when in all actuality, it was never even discussed in the first place. As a coach, you're going to set forth, based on a number of different variables, a pathway. It's this way, that way, the other way. They can't have it both ways. They've got to choose a way. And so what you want to do when you're positioning yourself as the coach, understanding that money matters and understanding they need a legit plan, a strategic plan of action, there are going to be solutions. There's a lot of solutions out there. And then there's the obvious solution. You have to position yourself as the obvious solution. You have to be the person confident that, hey, I can get you here. This is what I need from you. This is what I'm going to offer. We're going to commit in the middle and get this done. It's easy, guys, to understand what's going on. People have too much debt. and too little wealth. So you have to understand, if you're looking to solve this problem, it's a huge problem with a huge demand for solutions. So basically, people have a financial sickness and you have a cure. So going back to what we talked about in the beginning of this, you need to get motivated by the client experience, obsessed with helping people. And once you do that, the money starts to fall in place. When you start taking people from debt to wealth, it's a meaningful process for the client. Obviously, it's a meaningful process for you. It's a rewarding experience for a professional or a coach, helping see, people get to where they want to go. And like I just mentioned a few moments ago, you have to negotiate stuff. You have to negotiate, in your conversations. And the art of communication, the art of negotiation is an extremely important skill set that you must continue to work on. And really, it boils down to, once you've identified goals that you're talking to people about, what's their top priority? What's their top goal? What's their top motivating factor or pain point? And then negotiate with them. Hey, if I can show you a way to get there, if I can show you a way to definitely avoid that, does it make sense for us to do this, that, or the other? Once again, you're negotiating with people. You can't negotiate with somebody until you find out what they want. So once you find out what they want, this negotiation process. Hey, if I can show you, and not everybody's going to want to be shown. Some people like to live in the problem. That's okay. That's a disqualifier. But the negotiation process is finding the top priority, showing them a way to get there, and how you fit into the game plan. And remember, speak their language, not yours, and paint the picture. Facts tell, stories sell. And the longer you're in this business, the more stories you have of transformation about, not necessarily first person, it may be you, but the clients that you've helped as a coach. And you can start to paint that picture. Very, very, very powerful, because what we do, our business model, and what we sell is basically hope and opportunity, because we're not teaching people just to survive going forward. We're teaching them to thrive. And that's so valuable. What would it be like? Once again, painting that picture, negotiating the process. What would it be like if we got there? And it's not just, there, it's there with emotion. They're feeling that end goal being accomplished. What would you do? So you're painting that picture. We're getting them there, getting them emotionally invested in the end destination here. And then also understanding that we have to jerk them out of their comfort zone sometimes. Your clients, if they want to create something new, they got to do something new. That means sometimes getting out of the comfort zone. That's really hard for people. So just help them understand, be empathetic about it. But as the coach, continue to lead them. When was the last time you did something new for the first time? And then also understanding that there's a lot of data and a lot of logic that we present. And, math matters, right? But when you're dealing with people, they're not creatures of logic. We're dealing with creatures of emotion. So it's important to identify what they want, show them getting there. What does it feel like? Create that emotional attachment. And then project. Hey, if you were to be coached by me, if we were to go down this route, here's where we're probably going to be in 5 years. What does that look like? How does it feel? Okay, now let's go the opposite fork in the road. Let's say you don't work with me, and let's say you don't develop this plan of action. Let's say you just continue on your current route. Where are you going to be in 5 years? Because right now, you've got a choice, and that choice is going to determine a big part of your financial future. You have to feel that the conversations that you're having with people are this important, because they are. Because if you don't get to them and nobody else gets to them to help them, nobody ever wrote down a plan to be broke, fat, lazy, or stupid. Those are the things that happen when you don't have a plan. So understand your place, position your place as a coach, understanding that what you do and provide is meaningful, valuable, and needed. Agency in Motion, continuing education series on how to manage, build, and operate agencies in the 21st century.